All right, mama, let's have a real talk. You've probably heard people say, just go with the flow, trust your body. But what if I told you that this mindset could actually set you up for a traumatic birth? Now, I know that might sound shocking, but here's the deal. When you don't have a plan, decisions get made for you. And those decisions, well, they might not be what you actually want. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why going with the flow can be risky and the simple shift that you can make to take control of your birth experience. Okay, let's break this down by taking it all the way back to step one. So the very first thing I want you to understand is that hospitals run on protocols, not personal preferences. If you don't clearly communicate what you want, then you'll likely be placed on their standard routine. And that can look like IV fluids, continuous monitoring, and laboring in bed, even if that's not really what you had planned. Second, I want you to consider this. Stress takes over when you feel out of control. Let me say that again. Stress takes over when you feel out of control. Now, labor, well, that's super intense. And if you're just going with the flow, then it's easy to feel powerless when unexpected things happen. That's when the panic can set in, and suddenly birth feels more like something happening to you rather than something that you're actively a part of. Now, the third thing I want you to be mindful of is what we call the cascade of interventions. And what I mean by that is we have to be careful that one small medical intervention, let's say, for example, like breaking your water before labor naturally progresses to that point, sometimes that could potentially start what we call the domino effect, leading to more interventions. Things like Pitocin, epidurals, or even C-sections that could potentially be avoided. So we have to be careful about that. All right, so after hearing all this, you're probably thinking, so what can you do instead? Well, I want you to start with one simple thing. I want you to have a birth plan and a birth strategy. A birth plan lays out your preferences, but a birth strategy means that you know how to communicate those preferences and you're ready to adapt if things start to change. It's not about controlling every detail. It's about knowing your options and being involved in every decision. Also, I want you to practice advocating for yourself, and this is important. I want you to get into the habit of asking questions. As a matter of fact, here's a few that you can just have on deck to be willing to ask during your labor and birth process. Things like, is this necessary? Or you can ask, well, what are my other options? Do I have any other options? If so, what are they? And I want you to ask, what happens if we wait? What happens if we just give it a little bit of time? Is that an option? These are simple questions that put you back into the driver's seat. Now, most importantly, I want you to educate yourself right now. The more you know before labor starts, the less likely you'll be caught off guard when it's time to give birth. And that's exactly why I created Bump to Bundle Blueprint, so that you can walk into the delivery room confident, prepared, and in control. Now, let's take it a step further. Not all doctors are as supportive as they seem. And in the next video, I'm breaking down the 5 red flags that your doctor might not support your birth plan and what to do before it's too late. So, if you want to avoid being blindsided at your next appointment, go ahead and click the next video now.